Welcome to the podcast. Today we're talking about hierarchy, what it is, how it shows up in religion, and how Jesus Christ completely challenged it.
Exactly. And when you really look at Jesus, you realize he wasn't just pushing back on authority for the sake of it. He was revealing something deeper, something about God's nature and his ultimate plan to restore all things.
Exactly. Because in his time, religion was built on separation. You had insiders and outsiders, clean and unclean, righteous and sinners. And those categories created a hierarchy, some people seen as closer to God than others.
And Jesus just dismantles that whole system. He's constantly moving toward the people who were pushed out, eating with them, touching them, including them. It's like he's showing us that no one is actually outside of God's reach.
Right. And at the heart of it, his message is clear. God isn't trying to separate humanity. He's reconciling it.
That's where this connects so powerfully with universal restoration. The idea that God doesn't abandon the world, he restores it. And you see that in how Jesus operates.
Yeah, think about it. He corrects people, but he doesn't cast them away. He confronts, but he keeps inviting. Even when he's strongest in his words, it's not about final rejection. It's about exposing what's broken so it can be healed.
And what he really opposes isn't people. It's systems that make people believe they're beyond hope, beyond God.
That's so important. Because hierarchy depends on status, who's in and who's out. But then you get to the cross, and all of that collapses.
Exactly. At the cross, everyone stands on the same ground, not in condemnation, but in need of grace, and in the promise of restoration.
At the same time, Jesus does have very strong words for religious leaders who abused their authority. He calls them blind guides and warns of judgment.
But even that fits into the bigger picture. It's not about destruction, it's about truth being revealed, about bringing everything into the light so it can ultimately be restored.
And when you zoom out, from Genesis to Revelation, you see this consistent theme. Christ accomplishes what we can't, not through religious effort or hierarchy, but through relationship.
Yes, transformation doesn't come from climbing a spiritual ladder. It comes from turning to him, being made new.
And that's why that verse hits so deeply. As in Adam all die, so in Christ all will be made alive. 1 Corinthians 15:22.
That's not a small statement. That's a cosmic one. It means what Christ has done reaches as far as the fall itself.
So Jesus didn't come to fix hierarchy. He revealed a kingdom where it doesn't define worth anymore.
In his kingdom, the last are first, the lost are found, and the outsider is brought near.
There's no permanent separation, just the ongoing work of restoration.
And if we actually live this out, it changes everything. We stop labeling people and start seeing them as being restored.
We let go of spiritual superiority and choose humility.
We trust that God's love is bigger than human failure. And we stop acting like gatekeepers and start becoming participants in restoration.
Because at the end of the day, Jesus confronted hierarchy because it contradicts the heart of God.
God isn't maintaining systems that divide. He's bringing all things back into harmony.
Like Acts 3:21 says, there's a restoration of all things that God has been speaking about from the beginning.
And that means the story isn't about a few being rescued. It's about God's love restoring what he created.
And honestly, that changes everything.
Thanks for joining us today.
And be sure to visit us at www.patristicuniversalism.com.